Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be starting in just a few moments, so please begin to take your seats. Thank you very much. Just in a few moments, we will begin. All right, good afternoon, distinguished guests and members of the press. Thank you all so much for joining us for this official closing press conference of the 12th session of the World Urban Forum. All throughout this week, since Monday, we have participated in robust conversations centered around the theme, which, as you know, is It All Starts at Home, Local Actions for Sustainable Cities and Communities. At this press conference, you will hear keynote remarks, and afterwards there will be time for you to pose any questions you may have. I would like to introduce the speakers this afternoon. We have Ana Claudia Rosbach, Undersecretary General and Executive Director of UN Habitat. Please, a round of applause. As I mentioned their names, please let's acknowledge them. Thank you very much. We also have the Governor of Cairo, His Excellency Ibrahim Saber Khalil. Please, a hand of applause. We also have joining us this afternoon is Egypt's Minister of Housing, the Honorable Sharif El Sherbini. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, sir. We also have with us the Minister of Local Development for Egypt, the Honorable Manal Awad. Thank you all so much for taking out time to join us this afternoon. Let's first take closing remarks from the Executive Director of UN Habitat. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shika. Your Excellency, Prime Minister, Your Excellencies, Honorable, sorry, I'm so tired. Please bear with me. Surviving here. Your Excellency, Honorable Ministers, and Governor of Cairo, colleagues, friends, media friends, thank you so much for being here, for being with us throughout the days. As I've been saying, the media is very relevant. We are talking about very complex issues, and there's an urgent need to communicate, to disseminate these messages. So I really appreciate that you are here today, and you have been here with us throughout the week. So I will start expressing my immense gratitude to our host, the government of the Arab Republic of Egypt, for hosting the 12th session of the World Urban Forum in Cairo. It has been amazing. Your efforts have been nothing short of exceptional, resulting in the largest and most impactful forum to date. I feel profoundly grateful and honored to have led and shaped the World Urban Forum with our host and every participant here. It's my first World Urban Forum as Executive Director of UN Habitat. A big, big honor to me. I learn a lot with my friends now, my relatives almost from Egypt, from the context here, from the realities here, the impact of culture, but also the impact of technology. Thank you so much for all the learnings and wisdom that you shared with me and with all participants of this forum. This session has been a turning point in the journey of the World Urban Forum. We have broken many records and scaled new heights. At this World Urban Forum, we have had record-breaking attendance, over 24,000 participants from 182 countries registered for WUF12. 4 heads of states, 60 ministers, and 45 deputy ministers from 84 countries, 96 mayors, more than 700 partner-led events from over 1,500 applications. You can see the demand was really, really high. Over 5 days, more than 63,000 participants actively participated in dialogues, sessions, and discussions. I thank every single participant for these results and more. The forum's focus on local action was timely, given that over half of the world's population now resides in urban areas. Local governments hold significant influence over quality of life and state of cities and human settlements. Yet, The rapid pace of urbanization, particularly in the Global South, has left municipalities with funding gaps for crucial infrastructure services. Addressing this was a central theme at WUF12, highlighting the need for equitable finance. The Pact for the Future also recognized the role of localization of the SDGs and local and regional governments. I commend the conclusion of the Cairo call to action, which embodies the voices of WUF12, cutting across all stakeholders. The discussions at WUF12 consistently highlighted and raised a number of critical issues at the heart of efforts to promote sustainable cities and communities, including the following. First, the critical urgency of addressing the global housing crisis, recognizing that adequate housing is a human right, and conscious that housing inadequacy interacts with other crises, including climate and humanitarian crises. We cannot wait any longer when almost 3 billion people are suffering from various forms of housing inadequacy, with the most vulnerable being those living in informal settlements and slums. Second, finance as a priority for urban sustainability, including unlocking untapped finance in cities through better urban planning and land use that promotes inclusive, prosperous, and sustainable pathways. We must manage and use land across its social, economic, and ecological functions as one of the critical assets that opens up finance. Number 3, the need to capture, share, and learn from practices and existing solutions in order to accelerate action swiftly and at scale. WUF is a perfect place to do so, and we can do even more next time to connect practices and actors. 4, the power and potential of coalitions and partnerships to ensure that we leverage resources and expertise and take action at scale to respond to the complex and unprecedented challenge. Where next? We are fully committed to convene the outcomes of WUF12 at relevant moments and platform drawing on the Cairo call to action. We will be sharing this with our intergovernmental bodies and platforms. We are taking these recommendations and Cairo call to action, which will be unveiled shortly at the closing ceremony, to COP29 in Baku, to align subnational and national efforts to meet the Paris Agreement goals and achieve the SDGs and implement the new urban agenda. These outcomes will feed into discussions within the UN Habitat governance structure and the first open-ended intergovernmental working group on adequate housing for all. This meeting will take place in Nairobi at the start of December to develop a framework for measuring and reporting on the adequacy of housing across diverse national and local contexts. We will draw on insights for our strategic planning at UN Habitat for the period 2026-2029. Looking ahead, we are excited about the journey to Baku, with deep appreciation for the government of Baku in hosting WUF13. We take key reflections and insights from Cairo to pave the way. My vision is to have ensured we build a critical mass of ideas, networks, and practices in the lead up to WUF13, and I count on all to collaborate with UN Habitat on this. I can confidently conclude that the WUF is now the world's largest global urban coalition. Shukran.
Thank you very much for that. More
جزيلا أكثر من 24,000 من المشاركين.
feet indeed. Thank you very much. Now let's hear a closing statement from the governor of Cairo, His Excellency Ibrahim Saber Khalil.
Good morning to all of you. We would like to welcome you in the city of Cairo, and of course I would like to thank the Minister, Dr. Manal Awad, the Ministry of Local Development, Engineer Sharif Sherbini, the Minister of Housing, and Ms. Anna Claudia, the Regional Director or the Deputy General Manager of the UN. Actually, we are today concluding this very important forum, and it's a great honor that this forum is being implemented in Cairo. there was a lot of effort and coordination that was put into this, and under the patronage of His Excellency the President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and he has come himself to the conference and with an invitation from the Prime Minister, and there was coordination among all the visitors under the patronage of the Minister of Local Development, and there were many meetings that were held and a lot of preparations, major preparations prior to that forum. And we were lucky in Cairo. If this forum was required to be implemented for a long time, we would have faced problems. But the urban development that has occurred in the city of Cairo recently, the development that has occurred in the infrastructure and the utilities, the development that has occurred in all aspects of life, this is the thing that has made us more prepared to host this forum. So I would like to welcome all of you. In this forum, there was a week. Let's look at the outcomes that have occurred already as a result of this forum locally. There was the Urban Cairo Week, and this was implemented prior to the forum in coordination with UN Habitat. There were workshops which were implemented in the Urban Museum, and there were certain marathons that were implemented as well, and a general space. And this is the idea, which is that this general space is a very good idea, and we hopefully will implement this in various other areas in Cairo Governorate, because this achieves citizen satisfaction. During the forum, there were also workshops, and there was the organization of various visits so that we can learn the history of Cairo. Over the first day, we have been honored by His Excellency, the Minister of Local Development and the Minister of Housing, and Miss Anna. They were with us in opening the Andalusia Park, so that we can see at the sidelines where this park was opened. And this is a historical park which was closed down for quite a long time, so as to attach importance to history and to our old monuments. And then there were many visits that were organized in order to learn about history and the cultural heritage of Egypt and Cairo. There was Al-Mu'izz Street, Al-Fawakhir, the pottery area, and there were certain events that were organized in the citadel. And this was something from which everyone has benefited. The discussions that occurred during the forum recently, actually I have met so many governors of cities and chiefs of cities, and there were many fora, and me at a personal level, I have really benefited a lot. I am the son of the local administration, and I'm honored the issue of the local administration and the many ideas that were proposed. Hopefully we shall benefit from that. But we, as a governorate, we did benefit, and as an Egyptian state, we have also shed light on our experiences. We have shed light on what we have achieved in the upgrading of informal settlements, and to which degree that within Cairo markets we had so many informal settlements that are about to be upgraded, and how that we have relocated the citizens in such informal settlements to more urban areas or better urban areas. The citizen who was living in an informal settlement used to get a free unit, and this is a very unique experience, as well as the idea of heritage, history, and how that in Cairo we do our best so as to implement open museums, and that in Cairo, within the upcoming period, we try to preserve Cairo. As you may know, the governorate of Cairo is very old, but still new, because it is 1,555 years of age, and it connects the past with the present. It has so many Coptic and Islamic and ancient Egyptian relics, many museums as well, many monuments which we seek to preserve and to further develop, so as to invest in that in the upcoming period. Our vision within the upcoming period is to transform and to achieve sustainability and to become environment friendly, and so as to also become a capital that is very critical worldwide, and the entire world does appreciate that, and all the delegations and everyone whom we have met have shown that they were very satisfied with the development that occurred in Cairo, and we also capitalized on such feedback, and I personally did. Hopefully we shall apply that in the upcoming period. Anyway, once again, I'm really thrilled with this forum, that it is being held on the territory of Cairo, and we really did benefit from the various discussions and dialogues in the forum. Hopefully, we shall actually apply a lot of the recommendations and the inputs that have been expressed, because all of us are aimed at resolving the problems of citizens. We seek to achieve citizen satisfaction and to involve the citizens and to hear them out, how to involve the private sector and how also to develop our region. All my hopes to all of you that you will be successful, and I would like to thank you so much.
شكرا جزيلا لسيادتك، وشكرا جزيلا على ما فعلته وفريقك بهذا الصدد. شكرا جزيلا لك. الآن أدعو وزير الإسكان شريف الشربيني.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of Allah, Ms. Ana Claudia, Executive Director of U.S. Habitat, my colleague Minister Manal Awad, Minister of Local Development, and Mr. Ibrahim Sabir, Cairo Governor, everyone around here, welcome to all of you. Allow me to say that I am very pleased to welcome all of you in this press conference, in which is the closing conference of WUF12 hosted by Egypt here in Cairo. And I extend thanks to all the participants in every session for whatever representation they are making. And I'm here standing at the statistics that Ms. Ana Claudia stated about the percent of participation, which was unprecedented compared to previous sessions, which is a very positive indicator to the organization provided by the State of Egypt to this global forum. We were able to discuss all the challenges that we're facing in the field of sustainable urban development and how to face these challenges and the suggested solutions, and how to coordinate and cooperate together through international partnerships and how to execute these partnerships. We are very happy with the return of this forum back to Africa after 12 years. And I was very pleased with the bilateral meetings that I had with different colleagues from all over the world. And I was very pleased to meet with other ministers from African continent, where Egypt makes the best effort and provides the best expertise for sustainable urban development in Africa. We were also very pleased to meet our colleagues and friends in the City of Arts and Culture in the new administrative capital to show the true beautiful face of the new republic and impress everyone who shared with us in this great experience from the ancient Egyptian history until now. Not to forget, of course, our participants, our partners in the success of this forum under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, and His Excellency Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, and extend thanks to all our colleagues and ministers, organizers of this event, and all Egyptian institutions who participated in this event for the support, the massive support that they have provided for the success of this forum. And of course, I would like to extend thanks to our partners in UN Habitat, or our friends in UN Habitat, on top of which comes Ms. Ana Claudia and the Egyptian ambassador in Nairobi in Kenya for the success. We are now closing the WUF12, underscoring that everything starts locally. It's where we live. We can build a better future for us and for the next generations, and we continue our action to serve the citizens in a long journey of providing a decent life and sustainable development to provide the best for all our citizens. Thank you very much.
Anwar El-Sherbini, thank you so much. Your remarks have been well received. Now let us hear from the Minister of Local Development for Egypt, the Honorable Manal Awad.
Good morning And greetings to all the speakers as well as all the participants. I would like, first of all, to express my deep thanks and appreciation to all those responsible for the organization of the WUF in its 12th session by the Egyptian government and the Habitat and under the patronage of His Excellency the President. It's a great honor because we have witnessed this international event in Cairo and in Egypt, which reflects the commitment that has been shown by our country in hosting such an important event on the territory of Cairo. There were thousands from 182 countries under the slogan, "Everything starts at home," so that we can together work for sustainable cities and communities in a way that would embody the exchange of knowledge. The various events have been more than 600 sessions of diverse topics, which has enriched the discussion and the exchange of ideas and experiences among the participants. And I would like to express my happiness for the positive participation of all the states and institutions that have participated over the last 4 days. The fact that Egypt has hosted the forum indicates its faith in strengthening the term of sustainable urban development, whether at the local level or the international level. And this forum was a great opportunity to shed light on the successes that have been achieved by Egypt over the last years in all domains, and to showcase the challenges that face the various countries and the solutions that we can work on implementing. We are concluding today the 12th session of the forum, which has been hosted by Cairo, and the various exchange of visions and experiences in a variety of topics that face the countries of the world. And we do hope that the Cairo Declaration will be our compass for development within the upcoming period until the 13th session to be held in Azerbaijan. And thank you so much.
Members of the audience, if you have any questions, we do have microphones. There's one here, one in the middle, and one in the front. Please come forward, introduce yourselves, and pose your question. We have this gentleman, then we'll go to the madam here. Thank you very much. Okay, let's start here. Ladies first, yes.
Madam Executive Director, my question is to you.
Let's make sure your microphone is on first.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. My name is Sibel Bule. I'm from Turkey, Echo IQ. My question is to Madam Executive Director. In one of the sessions today, it was noted that SDG 11, the urban SDG, is very behind in meeting its targets. And I am wondering, what are your thoughts on how this gap can be closed, and has anything surfaced in the meeting here that gives you hope? Thank you.
So I think many things surfaced in the meeting here that gives me hope. First of all, the presence, the large presence of participants. So it's a vote of faith in the urban agenda. It's a vote of faith at UN Habitat and in the global community, urban community itself, coming just after the approval by consensus of the Pact of the Future in New York, which for me is also a vote of faith in the work of the United Nations. So secondly, I realized also the high presence, and I expressed in my briefing before, the presence of authorities here. We had a large number of national governments and local authorities here. I'm just coming back to the numbers to make sure I don't mess with the numbers, but we had 96 mayors, but also 60 ministers and 45 deputy ministers from 84 countries. So this is historic. This is historic for WUF. This is historic for UN Habitat. This demonstrates that's political will. So the community understands, is aware, is looking for practices, is looking for solutions, believe in us. There is a political leadership and political will. And also, we saw many discussions around the issue of informal settlements, specifically, which closely related to SDG 11, SDG 11.1, which I think is a critical one because we also need to improve the way we collect the information about these SDGs. So we had conversations around data, on how to build also a coalition to improve the information, the data around these SDGs. Also many practices and even some initiatives that were launched. For example, yesterday there was a side event where Brazil, South Africa, but also NGOs like Habitat for Humanity, SDI, also Cities Alliance, they spoke about a global action plan to support slum transformations. So I see processes, I see examples, and I see big political and community endorsement.
Thank you. Let's take the next question from the gentleman here. Yes.
Mohammed Fouad from Al Ahram Journal. I have a question to the Egyptian ministers. Your Excellency, the Minister of Local Development, a full and comprehensive assessment of what happened in the conference and the outcome of the conference and the main important experiences in your view, that which has been shed light on by Egypt and His Excellency the Minister of Housing. The same question, what are the main experiences in your own view that was presented by and showcased by Egypt in the conference? Maybe regarding the Ministry of Local Development, my colleague, the Minister of Housing, shall talk about the smart cities and the experience of the Ministry of Housing in reconstructing the new communities. But we in the Ministry of Local Development, we had experience that we have gained in the initiative of decent life. And this is one of the things that we have talked about quite considerably, and we were discussing over various sessions how that Egypt was able to launch a major development initiative such as this one. We have shed light on the experience of the Ministry of Local Development as regards to decentralization, and this happened with the World Bank in Upper Egyptian cities, which was affiliated with the Upper Egyptian Development Project. We talked about the experiences of some governorates in the integration of refugees and Egypt's guests, as we call them, and also women empowerment. Yesterday we had a very important session on women's empowerment, and we have showcased a very important experience in Damietta Governorate when I was the governor of Damietta, and there was a city that we have established in cooperation with UN Women, and this was a very successful experience in empowering women. We've also talked about what is of concern to us, which is the existing cities and the development and the sustainable development that is occurring to such existing cities, because they face various challenges such as climate change, such as overpopulation. And the title of the City Day, the World City Day, we were talking about climate change, and we were using Alexandria as a case in point in how that we've implemented projects to adapt to climate change. One of the coastal cities face some erosion problems and the increase in the sea levels, and we face rains and the torrential rains that we face in the coastal cities, how that we have launched projects so that we would be able to establish networks for rainwater drainage, and this has been done by all the coastal cities. And we've also declared two initiatives by the Ministry of Local Development in the forum, the initiative of applying decentralization and the development of local administrations, and the initiative of the City Atlas for Egyptian Sustainable Cities. And this is a project that has been implemented in cooperation with the World Bank, and we developed a governorate atlas for the entire nation. The entire nation actually talks about the nature of every governorate, and this was the first part of the atlas, and we're continuing on with this work. And we had with us the Minister of the Environment in launching the initiative, and we have also talked yesterday about the fact that we will start to develop a strategy for climate adaptation. We started already in 2018 by launching this strategy for Giza Governorate, and we had done that with the GIZ, and we shall continue taking the other steps in the strategy of every governorate, because it is quite known that every governorate has its own nature. future, and each one has a different method by which it will adapt to climate change. And thank you. Actually, I would...
Thank you very much for your question, a very distinguished question. The idea of transferring the experience can be done in more than one method, in more than one way that we work through. It's how to transfer the experience itself. It was done through many meetings and dialogues during the sessions with the participation of a big number of our colleagues, whether from ministers or developers, who joined us in the development process to make sure that this experience is a success in Egypt through the past 10 years. Also, our co-workers from the Ministry of Housing who participated fully in a lot of meetings that we held here. It was our way to convey the message, besides the bilateral meetings that we had with a major number of African housing ministers whom I had the honor of meeting them during their visit for the new administrative capital in my former position. It was a great opportunity for us to talk about our experience in details in different sectors, on top of which comes the group of axes that we talked about and discussed, developing slums and unplanned areas and unsafe areas. And we have many experiences like Asmarat project, Maspiro Triangle project, Fustat project. All these development projects that we have witnessed the success that we have achieved and what we have acquired. And so the transfer of this Egyptian experience is not done only through presentations, but we also arranged a big number of visits to our different working sites. We also talked about the experience of the Ministry of Housing in creating and establishing green, sustainable, smart cities, on top of which comes New Alamein City and the new administrative city and New Mansoura City and many new cities. We have 24 new smart city until now, and we arranged a number of visits, and we were delighted. We were very much delighted with the number of participants who joined these visits to these places. Also, we discussed how to the good administration of these smart cities, how they were managed, how they were administered in full capacity. Also, discussing the architectural and the heritage feature of each place, whether inside Cairo or outside Cairo, like in what we are doing in St. Catherine district in Sinai, in which we are executing a great phase of it in cooperation with the Ministry of Antiquities. We also discussed how to create job opportunities, whether through these services projects in cooperation with the private sector and the housing units established by the Ministry of Housing. And through the past period, in this last period, we had a variety of housing units that are available and affordable not only for Egyptians but also for foreigners who want to invest here in Egypt. Also, the other services that we had here in Egypt, services projects in which we discussed with African ministers, they have big plans to execute many projects, many services projects and housing projects for social housing, in which we also have in Egypt, under the title of Housing for All Egyptians. We have made agreements with different international entities to open the door for Egyptian companies that are now able to execute any project anywhere around the world. And we have taken the example of other Egyptian companies who were able to execute these projects inside Africa, on top of which comes the Tanzanian dam in cooperation with two major companies in Egypt. We were successful in conveying the message clearly and loud and clear to all our partners and colleagues, with our eyes on this World Forum that we had the honor to organize and host. We were able to convey the message, acquire what we were looking for, and once again, I extend thanks to everyone who participated in organizing this entire forum. Thank you very much.
We want to hear her evaluation of the forum and what we have seen here in Egypt and the whole overall preparations of this forum. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I already mentioned the partnership in the preparation of the forum, the local, our hosts here, the hospitality and the efficiency, the willingness, all the efforts and the work done by the staff here, and engagement at the highest level possible. It was fundamental for us to be here today. I believe from what I heard and the interactions that I had, that many participants, especially the ones, the policymakers, they came here very interested in understanding the experiences of Egypt that are transcending Egypt. So they went to site visits, I understand. They were to spaces where the experiences could be shared. I believe there is a lot that can be shared. For example, the governor mentioned the experiences on slum upgrading, also the urban renewal experiences in Cairo. I was at the Andalus Park. Yeah, and it's an excellent experience of urban renewal. And I hope really that this stays as a legacy from the WUF in a way, right? So we also, the minister mentioned the visits to the new capital and all the knowledge and know-how shared about technologies, about the approach of smart cities. I think this is an aspect that everybody is interested. UN Habitat is developing too, right now, is developing a process of building a guidelines of people-centered smart cities. So there are many learnings that can be incorporated there. And very critically for me, two key essential aspects. I believe one is the interconnection with the past and the future. This I personally thought I learned a lot from Egypt, how in these different experiences with different approaches, this combination was present there, full respect for the past, for the culture, for the heritage, but also really looking towards the future. And the second aspect is the smart use of land. So the whole strategy that's behind these programs, these policies, these initiatives of really looking at land, understanding, and Egypt understands that very well, it is scarcity, which is a common denominator in many countries in the world. So right now, cities are growing more in territory than in population. This has been affecting biodiversity, the natural surroundings, food security. So we really need to improve the understanding that land is a critical asset, is scarce, and we have to fully respect its social and ecological function. So it's important to look how we can maximize the built environment, renew, but also when we need to grow, when we need to expand, we have to use it smartly from the ecological point of view, but also from the ecological, from the social and the economic point of view. So how you can use land also to leverage resources that can be combined with fiscal resources, subsidies, and enable the project. So the financial engineering and the centrality of land, for me, is also a critical aspect from the experiences that participants could have access to.
Thank you so much. On that note, we do have to bring the press conference to an end. Thank you very much. Another round of applause to our speakers here, Executive Director, UN Habitat, His Excellency, the Governor of Cairo, and the Honorable Ministers. Thank you all very much. May I ask, before we disperse, for a group photo? Thank you very much. And have a great afternoon, everyone.